All right, Bob, if you call the meeting to order.
All right.
11:30.
Good morning. Let's start off with a flag salute, then we'll go to Anita. Justin, give us a aye.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. We have a quorum, I believe.
Join as a guest anywhere?
Anita, just before the roll call, do you want to read the adequate notice?
Yes, adequate notice of this meeting was provided in accordance with the provisions of the Senator Byron M. Bear Open Public Meetings Act as by notice published in both the Asbury Park Press and the New York Star Ledger and filed with the Lakewood Township Municipal Clerk and by posting of same upon the public bulletin board of the municipal building, which is actually our website. I'd like to take a roll call for attendance. Mr. Calabro.
Here.
Mr. Flansbaum.
Here.
Mr. Halverson.
Here.
Mr. Katz. Mr. Schuster. Mr. Stafford Smith.
I'm here.
Mr. Kirschner.
Here.
Thank you.
Okay. Want to have the minutes
Minutes were distributed. Hopefully everybody.
Move to approve the minutes.
for July 14th?
Thank
I'll
you,
second.
Tommy.
Justin?
Thank you, Justin. Okay.
And the,
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Opposed? Seeing none? Carry. Okay. Statement of accounts. Anita.
Statement of accounts basically reflects our standing financial condition. Just to explain to you, we are receiving payments. We're receiving land lease payments. We're receiving T-hanger payments. Everybody seems to be getting with the program. We're trying to put more people onto automatic payments, and that seems to at least keep everything flowing.
Great. I move to accept the statement of accounts.
Thank you, Tom.
Second.
Thank you.
Second, Greg.
Anita, if I might interrupt for 1 second.
Yes.
Committeeman DeLea is on speakerphone with me. He's having some technical difficulty, but he'll be listening to the meeting.
Thank you.
Okay. Mike. All right, so on the motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. That was everyone, I think. Any opposed? Abstentions? Okay, bill list. Anita, let's, just before we actually vote on the bill list, let's point out that in the first category, you have the, I think it's the full, but it might be almost the full payment for the paving materials, because we get the bills in chunks, basically, as they come across from the
That's a big one.
and company. So that, you know, there's two tranches there that you see. All of that is for the park and ride, and that's moving well. Everything else looks fairly normal, statutory type billing that we have. The strand, everything there is fairly straightforward. There are, you know, this is kind of catch up. The first item with Aggressive is on a number of projects that we had with them for maintenance. And lastly, in the airport, so that's a fair amount of outlay out there for fuel, and that's all offset by prepays and as you go pays by the clubs, the bank companies, and the transit aircraft that come through. We're still working. Well, I'll give you that report when we get to my report. So, any questions on the bill list? Can we get a motion?
Move to accept the bills. I'll second, Justin.
Anita, this.
On roll call.
Thank you.
Hold on a second. Let me get my page here. Mr. Calabro.
Yes.
Mr. Flansbaum.
Yes.
Mr. Halverson.
Yes.
Mr. Stafford Smith.
Yes, I do question the fact is the rigging bill, has that been presented yet?
The rigging bill is will be drawn from another, budget, to not our budgetary line item. It was going to be from the capital expense account that goes through the municipal, line item for that project. If, as I can, we're processing that at this point, but it's not a bill list item that comes out of our account. Is there any special way you'd like to see that?
No, I'm just curious because I know that we extended ourselves and it's becoming something that we are somewhat committed to, and I know the project is finished. I realize it is an account that was prior to the UEZ LEDC, and there's probably a format that doesn't go directly to our books, so it probably needs to be handled as you see fit.
Yeah,
Okay,
we
I
submit those
can-
through to the capital.
I can create a report, a process where we report on that particular line item, for our meetings. We can do that too.
It might be helpful just to be aware of the balance.
Yeah, so that
Okay.
maybe should be in the statement of accounts area.
Okay,
It's a separate line, and it'll be just informational, because we don't take action through that account.
I can do that. Hi, Eddie.
Thank you. Hello, Eddie. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we need a roll call, a final
Please.
roll call on this bill list.
Please.
Greg said yes with the questions. Mr. Kirschner?
Yes, except I lost my sheet. I don't know what,
Okay, you want to, you're abstaining from number 4058.
that's what I need, 4058. Okay. I'm staying for that one. The other ones are okay.
Thank you. Mr. Schuster, did you get a chance to see the bill list at all? Or are you going to abstain from voting on this?
No, I vote yes.
Thank you.
It was a-
Okay,
That's everybody? Okay.
yes,
All right. I'm up, right? Okay.
yes, sir.
So let me give under the executive director's report, I do have a couple of items for closed session, but general update on the park and ride. Again, if anybody's been through there, it's moving toward completion, but the biggest hurdle towards it is we've been working on the governing ordinance. We've been working with the committee, and we have submitted our latest version, which is under review by the committee and the township attorney. So I don't have a response on that yet, but as soon as that gets approved, then it will go into the process for adoption by the township committee. And then as soon as that's in place, we'll be able to open the lot. So hopefully things will dovetail, and that'll come together in the coming weeks here.
Steve,
Item is, I'm actually, when we get around to resolution, I will ask somebody to offer a resolution to for us to once again sponsor the Business Expo and training program that's run by the OJC, the JBIZ. Last year, it was really right in the throes of the whole COVID shutdown, and coming out of that in the slow opening, fast opening, we were a sponsor of that. It was fairly well attended despite the cold weather, and there were a number of training sessions that were very well received. And, in our mission of promoting economic development, it was a good opportunity for businesses to network with one another, for job seekers to get out there. And given how difficult the
Looks like you're in, Mike.
having filling job opportunities, it's really
Okay. I'm gonna take
for
your
us to
speaker.
get behind. I did have a discussion with the mayor about it, so I would ask the commission to authorize us to do what we did last year or work on alternate sources of those funds, but basically to maintain that same level so that we're properly supporting local economic activity. So I'll get back to that coming
Steve.
solutions.
can you hear me?
Yes,
Steve, all right, along with that, can we ask that gentleman, was it Toby, for some kind of an accounting of where his money goes, where our money goes.
Well, yes, we very much specifically will want to get behind funding the training portions of the activity as opposed to general advertising or something. And that's part of what I'm going to ask you to authorize me to do is to work out that arrangement with him. Yes.
I tried to say something before I couldn't. I went by the parking lot yesterday, and it's pretty hard to tell where one thing ends and one begins. There's so many piles of dirt there, but it looks good.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, there is a big truck parking area on the I guess south side of it, and to the north side of it is that new parking lot that's just been laid in by the entity next door. So we're kind of sandwiched right in the middle, but we're the ones where you see the yellow earth movers sitting right there on our property, and there's still 2 mounds of gravel that need to be put into place. Lastly, on the airport, I wanted to alert everybody that we have been making significant progress with our public-private investment partner on the format for a public-private partnership, and they're ready to come in and make a presentation to the commission. So we're looking to hopefully have them in our September meeting. Because of the way the calendar plays out with holidays and what have you, I believe our September meeting is September 1st. So it's just a few weeks out, and hopefully we'll have them in and have them, if it's not live, then they'll do it in this format and have them, put up some visuals and so on, so everybody kind of gets a sense of what we're talking about doing through this public-private partnership and how it's going to bring a significant amount of private investment in to leverage the airport and help it modernize. In the meantime, yesterday I received notice from the FAA. We have submitted a lot of these plans to them in terms of visioning for the airport. We have cleared most of those hurdles. I have a conference call tomorrow with them, hopefully to resolve any hanging Chad questions, and we'll get that squared away. Lastly, I want to mention with the airport that we are working on getting even a functional Jet A service in place, hopefully truck-based, very soon. We're hoping to do that as part of the helipad project, which, again, it's waiting for the FAA, its final approval. This is kind of the beauty of the many arms of government having to work together. So it's been a little slow. And in the meantime, we do have a lot of helicopter traffic and some turbo airplanes that use Jet A that are coming in and that could use that kind of fuel. We have not been selling that fuel because we just don't have the facility for it, but we're working on a way to do that on a truck basis, and that'll be something that will survive into the new fuel farm, so we'll be able to have that as well. Any questions on any of that? None.
Do we have any scheduled subcommittee meetings for the airport?
We don't have anything particular scheduled, but we should.
Yeah, because I have a little something to discuss in the subcommittee meeting. If we could put something on the schedule, that'd be great.
Sure. We'll send out a couple of options to you.
Okay.
Steve,
Yes, sir.
Ray's strongly against any type of jet operation at the airport, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
And we can't really accommodate that kind of jets.
I know that.
Yeah. So really, I mean, when you're talking about the volume of helicopter traffic that we have now, even before we put in the new helipad and hopefully getting a medevac type company or something to base here,
Yeah.
you're talking
I'm all
about
for it.
So that will create a lot of demand for that kind of fuel. And bottom line is, in the more service you offer, the better. And we've been getting a lot of positive feedback, even from the non-resident based flying community, people who are familiar with the airport but only come in every couple of years, and they've all been like wowed by how much progress we've made. So it's a good opportunity for us to capitalize on that, make a few dollars, and raise the profile of the area.
I agree.
Thank you. Okay. Somebody's got good wildlife. Okay. That's it for now. Everything else I have is in closed. Sean did call me earlier and indicated that Catherine will be covering, and I think that they also only have things for closed session.
The studs are ready.
So, Anita, any correspondence that we need
To
to?
do the ID brace? ID.
Nothing, right?
No correspondence outside of our supporting documentation for
Okay.
our open sessions.
Okay. No email.
No emails were received. There are no emails in our email box now, and there was no mail at the Department of Public Works for yesterday for pickup.
Okay. Okay. So I'm jumping down the list here to committee reports. Justin, any comment on the Cross Street property that we met about? There was a subcommittee meeting.
Yeah, we had a subcommittee meeting, last Thursday or Friday, and
Yeah.
we reviewed it in detail, and I don't think the subcommittee had any further
Right.
comments on what was presented.
Yeah, so that was a property on Cross Street. It's on a county right-of-way. We get a lot of these requests where they want to drop the setback from the 100 feet to 50. We typically don't object to them, especially if it's in keeping with the consistency with the area. And along Cross Street, that's very consistent. And then everything else, it happens to be on a county roadway, and the county is doing their widening, so everything will have to comply with that. I don't believe we've yet got the official request from the planning board, so this was kind of a little bit of a preemptive move, but we're ready for it now. The other subcommittees, hopefully as we get back into live meetings and person type meetings on a broader basis, it'll be easier to get after some of this, especially like the park control. I'd love to do a field trip with our the signs committee and with Hal and our chairman, be able to get around and actually walk around some of the areas in the park. We're hoping to do new signage. As most of you will remember, years ago we had these monuments at the various entrances to the park. Most of them have been taken out by trucks over the years. So, and we really want to modernize that a little bit. So we've got that project that we approved a couple of years ago, and with the whole COVID slowdown, it's really put a crimp in that. But we'll get back to it. Okay, marketing and public relations is Mrs. Kirschner.
Thank you. Here's my report. I attended the economic development meeting of the MODC, Monmouth Ocean Development Council, and gave glowing reports about Lakewood, the Strand Theater, the Blue Claws, and the airport. I wrote PR and sent it out on August 4th for the JBiz Expo at the Blue Claws Stadium. It hasn't been picked up yet. I also wrote PR about the helicopter rides at the Lakewood Airport. I've had almost 100 views just on LinkedIn. People were very excited and impressed by that. There's a business editor that writes for ROI. It's a business paper, and he's looking for companies to interview that handle transportation, including the airport, and also engineering firms. So if you can refer anyone to me, I'll pass it along to him. It's great free PR. Thank you. That's
Excellent.
my report.
Yeah, thank you. The article on the helicopter rides was very well received. As most of you know, every year there's an organization that arranges for children who are handicapped and or dealing with significant illnesses, and they bring them out, and it's really very short, quick rides, but it's a thrill for the kids, and it's a really nice day for the activities at the airport, and it really it's a win-win all the way around, and it's nice.
We happened to be there on that day and we saw the excitement and the crowd and it was
Yeah, it's really beautiful.
wonderful.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
Okay. Comments from the public? I don't see any. And so moving on to resolutions. So the one resolution that you have is for the acceptance of a NJDOT grant. And this is as we work towards completing the work at the southern end of the runway and recapturing that couple of 100 feet of runway for usage. So there's an obstruction survey analysis required for the remaining trees that we need to remove and the fence that needs to get moved. All of that is in play, and the DOT is funding this. So this is just our formal acceptance, and then the township accepts, and then the state countersigns it, and we can actually start the work.
Steve, a comment. I read through their report. It's going to add over 500 feet to the runway. Was I reading the right
500 feet.
thing?
I thought it was like 200 and something. I don't think we have 500 displaced there.
560 feet in that report. I guess
Maybe
that's
in total pavement. Yeah, it could be in total pavement, because a lot of it right now, a fair amount of that pavement is the way it's striped now. It's getting a little technical, but the simple way to explain it is that some of it is actually treated as taxiway instead of runway. It's in the same linear, it's in the same line as the runway. It's not available as runway right now. So once they get approval for that, once they remove all the obstructions and it's safe for planes to use all of that runway, there will be, a fair amount of additional runway put at the disposal of the flying public. It's not enough to keep a class jets, but it's enough to give more safety area for the current flying public and to allow for larger non-jet traffic to come in.
if you're looking south from Cedar Bridge behind you, there's if I look through it with my binoculars, I can see a fence across there. I guess that's going to get moved.
That fence is going to get moved. A few years ago, we acquired an easement from Church and Dwight, which is the old fluid packaging plant, and that easement goes around their entire basin, and the idea is that fence is going to get completely rerouted around that basin. So that'll give us a couple of 100 feet beyond the end pavement of the runway, where the fence will be out of the way. And when all those trees are down, it's basically going to be a much flatter, easier, safer area for planes coming in for landing or needing a little more room for takeoff.
So we're looking at close to like a 4,000 foot runway now, right?
3,300.
About plus what they're adding.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you count the safety area beyond, yes, it's closer to 4,000, but it's just safety. It's just overrun. It's not actual runway.
It's a runoff area.
Yeah. It's like, God forbid somebody overshoots the runway. Basically, you will have taken away most of the things that can potentially hurt.
Little buffer.
Yeah. So we need a motion and a second on that one.
I'll move it.
What's the resolution?
Yeah, Justin just offered the resolution, and we need a second. Second by Tom. And Anita, roll call, please.
I have a big thing to do. You can go in there.
Okay, ready? Okay, Mr. Calabro,
Yes.
Mr. Flansbaum,
Yes.
Mr. Halverson,
Yes.
Mr. Schuster,
Yes.
Mr. Stafford Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Kirschner.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, and then if I could ask somebody just to offer from the floor a resolution authorizing me to work with the manager on determining the best source of funds, and then maybe it'll be us, or the sponsorship, silver sponsor, I think it is, of the JBiz Expo for their training activities. not to exceed 5,000.
I'd like to offer that motion that Steve be empowered to find the appropriate support for the JV's Expo, and that we at some point get a follow-up report as to the application of those funds and how they benefited the organization.
Great.
Seconded.
Okay, Anita, I'll need a roll call on that one as well.
All on that one, yes. So we're going to put that as resolution 210802.
Please.
So I will create, okay. Mr. Calabro,
Yes.
Mr. Flansbaum,
Yes.
Mr. Halverson,
Yes.
Mr. Schuster,
Yes.
Mr. Stafford Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Kirschner.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Anita, if you would read the resolution about, or the,
Closed session.
yes, please.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for that?
I'll move we go to closed session.
Second.
Okay. Got Greg, Justin.
Okay, I'll read the resolution into the minutes. Whereas Section 7B of the Senator Byron M. Bear Open Public Meetings Act permits the exclusion of the public from a meeting under circumstances, and whereas this industrial commission of the Township of Lakewood is of the opinion that such circumstances presently exist, now therefore be it resolved by the Industrial Commission of the Township of Lakewood in the County of Ocean as follows. The public shall be excluded from discussion of private and confidential matters involving any of the 9 exclusions as set forth in Section 7B of said law and as hereinafter specified. The general nature of the subject matter to be discussed is as follows: contract negotiations and litigation. It is anticipated at this time that the above stated subject matter will be made public only when the reasons for discussing and acting on them in closed session no longer exists. Said determination be made by further resolution adopted by the Industrial Commission, and this resolution shall take effect immediately. The time is 11:57 a.m.
Okay. All in favor? Aye. Okay, I'm going to start the breakout session, so keep an eye on your screen, please. Okay, thank you all. Mr. Chairman, any comments from the chairman? You're on mute. Hold on a second.
Stream is
Say
streaming.
again. Say again, Bob. No, we're good. You're unmuted. Go ahead.
Okay. I want to thank everybody for attending, showing up, showing your interest. And what else can I tell you? We're doing well, and everybody stay healthy.
Yeah.
Steve, you want to talk?
Okay, good. Any comments from any of the other commissioners?
I just want to make a comment. I just want to, put it out there. Lakewood lost one of its own this week. We lost Glenn Stolthorpe, longtime Lakewood resident, and just a heck of a nice guy. Very sudden and shocking. And I don't know, just thought I'd put it out there.
Yeah, thank you. We should.
Thanks, Tom.
Taken way too young.
No question.
Yeah, I'll go along with that. He just fixed my car a few weeks ago, so
Oh,
Yeah.
it's a big loss. Great,
terrible.
great guy.
Okay.
All right.
Move to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank
Take care,
you all.
everybody.